Has anybody noticed? Hell must have frozen over. The stream is not cut off yet. Usually by now it cuts off and I have to restart it. Been happening for months. Like 3 months. Watch, it's going to cut off now. Watch. The trolls are at it early tonight. Well, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Pigskin Pete. Happy Friday to everybody. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. I was going to come on here and complain and bitch and moan about losing to Notre Dame last week, and now we got a bye week. That's the worst time to have a bye week, isn't it? After a loss. Then you got to sit there for the entire week after that with that L on your chest, no fun. But then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, that would be kind of selfish for me to go in there and complain about having a bye week when how many games got canceled this week? I know it was up to 12, and then now, let's count them up. So you had 5 in the SEC, right? A couple in the group of 5, 2 or 3 in the group of 5. That's 7 or 8. I had 2 games in the Pac-12 canceled. Hell, I don't know. I can't remember how many. You had a couple in the Big Ten. Anyway, equaled out to about 12. Somehow, which is pretty surprising to me anyway, somehow Cal and UCLA found out a way to play on short notice because both of their games got canceled. So they'll be playing in the Rose Bowl down there, UCLA. So good for them. Some of the bigger games get canceled, though. Obviously, everyone's eyes were on Ohio State because of their playoff hopes. Maryland's a decent team. I mean, they're up and down, but that might have been one of their more interesting games that they have left on their schedule. That one gets canceled. Then the rumors start to swirl about pushing back the playoffs. Now, everything's already been pushed back. Before I get into that, I'm going to, because this might take a minute. Of course, this is a call-in show. The number to call in is 864-207-4522. That's right. It's right there. And if you're not watching but only listening, I'll repeat that for you. 864-207-4522. Thank you, Definition 409, for the super chat. Said something about me forgiving him. You are forgiven, sir, for whatever you did, whatever you have done to be wrong me. You're forgiven. Just kidding. I'm not the type of person that holds a grudge. I've told you that a long time ago. So thank you. What else here? What else do I want to announce before we get into the meat of the subject? Oh! March 5th through 7th. Do you guys know that's, let's watch how I do this here. It's November, right? Right, November 13th. December 13th. January 13th. February 13th. March. So, just under 4 months away. Just under 4 months away. March 5th through 7th. Atlanta, Georgia, Centennial Park. A bunch of us going to get together, have a good time, and mix them, and probably some of these guys on YouTube, like myself and Uncle Lou and BBD and the rest of cast of characters, are probably going to at some point do something to make an ass out of themselves. If I had to guess, at least one or more, if not all, will do that at some point. If you haven't visited howardrock.net yet, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go over there, register. It takes 2 seconds. Put in your email address and your name. That's it. No credit card needed, nothing like that. It's free. But if you do sign up and register, we will email you a 20% off coupon for a one-time purchase in the NCAA store. And at this point, I think there's about 15 or 16 teams represented. We're adding more each week, each month. And we're adding more gear to each team's list, shopping list, whatever, inventory. Let's check it out. All right, let's see who's in the chat here. Cheers to the chat. First of all, thank you, Hurricane Logan, for this super chat. It says, all my super chats are restricted. Liberals hate me. What does that mean? Well, I can tell you this much because I've tried it. I've tried to send a super chat to somebody before, and it keeps rejecting it because of a word that I've used in there. And I've never used any, I'm not crazy, right? I'm not putting any like super wacky, what I'm saying. I'm not doing anything crazy, but even just the slightest curse word, they will reject it. So I don't know what their list of words is, exactly what they'll say and what they won't let you say, but they're pretty conservative about it. I know that much. What's up, Goose Sports? Clemson Carson, Matt Dummett, Byrick. David Stein is in the house. What's up? I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. BYU fan is here. He's attempting to troll, but he's failing. Congratulations! You tried and you failed miserably. You know what? I would almost like to see BYU make the playoffs just so they can get curb stomped and everybody can laugh at them. That would be funny. What's up, Maddie Sims? Brandon Pratt. Yes. Nate the Great, never late. He says he's not late, but he's depressed. Well, that sucks. What's up, J-Dub? Jeff Webster's in the house. Gators owned. Crimson Brave, Hurricane, Logan, Rowdy Rocker. As opposed to Subdued Rocker. You know. Uncle Lou's golf cap is in here. I'm not sure why his message got deleted. He says, "Why was I deleted?" I'm literally quoting my wearer, Uncle Lou. Yeah, I don't know who timed you out. It says deleted by Google moderator team. What in the hell does that mean? I have no idea what that means. That's the first time I've ever seen that. Does anybody know what that means? Google moderator team? What's up, James Lil? Play teasers. Love the show. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. We might look at my bet now tonight. And I might have you guys help me out, pick a couple of games. Actually, I probably won't I'm going to bet who I want to bet, not who you want me to bet, but I'll do it on the screen for everyone to look at, and I'll explain why I'm doing what I'm doing. What's up, Wilkie? Slob Olympics is YouTube's version of Woodstock. You know what? That's a pretty good comparison, I'd say. Probably minus the nudity, right? I don't imagine there's going to be too much nudity at the Slob Olympics. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. That's the whole point. We'll find out. Randy Dandy's in here. Luke Walker. Yes. All right. Cheers to the chat. What's everybody drinking tonight? Good afternoon. You're on with Pete.
What's up, Pete?
Yo. Who is this? Is this Logan?
Hello. How you doing?
It's Logan?
Yeah, Hurricane Logan. What's up, brother?
What's up, man?
What's up, bro? Man, what's up, bro? How you doing?
Well, I'm amazing and fantastic.
Dude, love to hear it, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
How do you feel about the Hurricanes against Virginia Tech? I want to see some, outsider views. How do you feel about Miami against Virginia Tech? Seriously.
I understand that your tight end's out, right, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean,
he was out. He was out last week. He's missed what, 3 or 4 games already this year. So you're right. He's out like half the time, it seems like.
Yeah, he's always out.
So we were talking about this game on the Lunch Money show yesterday, and I mean, I'm shocked that Miami was. I don't know what they are now. I haven't checked it today, but they were a 2-point underdog in that line as of yesterday.
And even anybody as far as Uncle Lou doesn't agree with that.
No, I don't agree with it either. I'm gonna probably bet. I'm gonna bet on it for the for the Lunch Money show. I'm gonna bet on it.
And that's 100% fair. But what's your score prediction, if you could give one, if you don't mind? I'm not trying to throw you on the spot, but
no, that's all right. I would say I don't think it's going to be really high scoring.
I think we're going to score high because
I'm going to say 32 to 24. I think you win by 12. There's right 12 points. No, wait.
that's definitely fair. That's definitely fair.
12 points. What am I talking about?
But at the same time, if I can back it, fair enough. Hey, fair enough. I always respect that, man.
Yeah.
You're never a delusional like weirdo, that I have to sit there and conversate with and educate. But at the same time, let's talk about this offense.
Yeah.
This offense started off on the run game, and it was amazing. Even against, everybody says, oh, well, it was UAB. UAB came in the season as the top 20 defense, and it's still UAB. I got it. But then you got to look at Virginia Tech. They just lost to Liberty. You know what I'm saying? Liberty at home. So I think with Miami finally getting the deep ball established, and then, the run game, we know that we can have a run game. This can easily fly both ways. And if we get both things established and then, now it's RPO, De'Aaron King's going to do work, that's going to be a big problem for Virginia Tech.
Yeah. I see this game going one of two ways. I think Miami will win this thing decisively, and it won't, come the second half of the fourth quarter or so, it'll be over. Miami will blow them out. The other thing is that Miami does something that they've done a couple times this year and let these lesser teams hang in with them for too long and make it a game and have to go down there at the end of the game and win it when they should have already been winning it by 2 or 3 touchdowns. So those are the two scenarios I see. I don't see. I mean, of course, it's college football and anything can happen. I'm not saying Virginia Tech can't win the game. I'm just saying I think of the most likely scenarios that play out, it's going to be either a blowout by Miami or they have to hang on and win it at the end. I don't see Virginia Tech winning this game. And
and if you don't mind, I can.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, of course, anything can happen, especially in the ACC. If Miami were to lose this game to Virginia Tech, that would be. That would hurt. Now, that would only be their second loss of the year, and so they could conceivably finish the regular season with only 2 losses coming from where they came from last year. That's a massive improvement. But you don't want to lose to Virginia Tech this year, not this year.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't think people – so if you don't mind, so there's 2 things that I'm seeing right now. Why are people acting like Liberty is in a top 25 team? First of all, COVID-19, got it. Second of all, Liberty is not a top 25 team, period. The only reason they're even being talked about, and don't get me wrong, Liberty has, I think, 7 more wins than most ACC teams. Got it. You know what I'm saying? That just means the ACC is not that good, and I think me and you as Miami Hurricane fans and Clemson fans can sit there and admit that. You know what I'm saying? But so that's that comment out of the way. And then this dude was like saying, I would actually really like to see the Coots go up against Coastal Carolina. Never mind. Can't entertain that comment. Anyway, what I'm saying with my team, because I'm a Hurricane. First of all, the good thing about me and like Slim Shady that you like, I'm not a delusional Hurricane, right? So we know how Virginia Tech is. They're a really good running team, and if we can stop their run, we're going to do some pretty good numbers on them because their rushing defense is also awful. So if we can sit there and make that work during the game, Miami playing Virginia Tech should beat them by probably 3 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? That's just realistically
and that's
speaking.
What I'm saying. I mean, it's Miami's game to lose. I expect De'Aaron King to probably have a pretty big day, actually, like you mentioned, to get the rushing defense. So Jordan and
that's what I'm saying. If we go to RPO with De'Aaron King, we should have a hell of a game.
Yeah, Harris and King probably both have big days. All right, man, I got to go. I got calls stacking up here, but I appreciate it. Good luck to your Hurricanes tomorrow. Not that you'll need
Appreciate you, Pete. Good luck to you guys also, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Hurricane Logan checking in. I see you on there, J-Dub. Just wait a second. Sir, thank you. Good afternoon. You're on with Pete.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
So I just kind of wanted to talk briefly about the Trevor Lawrence return.
Yeah, okay.
So my question is, do you think he's going to bounce back like he should, basically?
Yeah, I absolutely do. First of all, he's got another week to rest up and get fully healthy. So he won't be playing again till for another 8 days from now. And he went when he got sick. He was playing some of the best football of his college career. So I don't think he's going to be much of a drop off after that. I think he's going to come back on fire.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, considering the fact that there's like no competition, I feel as though he'll come back stronger than ever.
Yeah, not much competition. Couple of sleeper teams though. Don't want to get caught slipping on towards the end of the year. Mainly Pitt.
I mean, they'll definitely win out.
Yeah.
Question about because I don't really know about the whole ACC thing. How is that playing out with Notre Dame being 1 and y'all being 2? Is that who's going to be playing for the championship?
Well, I mean, there's still a lot that can happen, right? Yeah, provided that both of those two teams win out, then they will play in Charlotte, and then I think Notre Dame could even lose a game at this point and still get in there because they have a tiebreaker over Clemson, and Clemson holds the tiebreaker over Miami. I don't know exactly how that all works out, but I think that's the way it would work. So yeah, most likely. I mean, look, there's about a 90% chance that Clemson and Notre Dame are playing each other for the ACC title game. It's very likely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll play out just like Notre Dame and Clemson, but also I just don't know if Trevor's got to stay healthy because I just don't have too much confidence in y'all's backup. I'm not saying he's definitely got to develop. He's a good kid, but he just don't seem like the one right now. He don't seem like he's been followed under the offense.
I mean, I don't know what you've been watching, but he's got like 800 yards in 2 games, no interceptions. So, quarterback is not the problem. Got 2 that can lead us to play. We got two quarterbacks that would start in any team in America right now. So, that's not the problem. They got other problems, especially on the defensive side of football.
Boston College is pretty amateur, though. That whole game that he played great versus Notre Dame. I watched both of those games, but there in Boston College, it was more so defense than anything, but he didn't look like the best. Plus, Clemson and like Trevor Lawrence and Dabo Swinney ain't shit.
Yeah. Right.
They ain't worth the fuck, man.
Right. Tell us about it. Tell us how much they suck. Go ahead and get it off your chest. You've been waiting on hold for a while. Let us know all this. Go ahead.
Well, there's not really much to say. The proof is in the pudding. I mean, you play fucking shit teams week in and week out, and
right.
I mean,
yeah,
it's like a confidence boost where y'all get hyped up over beating, like the Citadel and
yeah. Every Clemson fan I know, they get super hyped up about beating the Citadel. You're right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Week in and week out.
Yep. That's right. You got us. Anything else?
Nah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he hung up, folks. I mean, I gave the guy a chance. Because he clearly wanted to talk some shit, but didn't know how to do it. So sometimes you just let these people shoot themselves in the foot. I didn't have to say anything. Just let him talk. The guy shit talked himself. Fucking guy argued with himself and lost. The forecast for today is partly stupid with 100% chance of dumbass. Thank you for the call, sir. Good afternoon, you're on with Pete.
Hey, Pete, J-Dub calling from a cold Iowa. You're amazing and fantastic, sir. I'm sorry you had to put up with another Miami idiot.
Oh, I don't even know. Was that a Miami guy? I don't know who he was.
Well, I don't know. Whoever it was that was saying that Clemson isn't any good is clearly either delusional or simply doesn't understand a damn thing about what he's watching.
Oh, him and his friend.
But
I just having a good old time. You could hear him passing the phone back and forth and giggling like a bunch of schoolgirls in the background after he said something.
It must have been middle school night.
Right.
So I just watched PJ Fleck's team call out the Coast Guard an emergency signal as they dropped a 1-3. Iowa boat raced Minnesota 35-7, and Iowa is no good. So the Minnesota 1 year wonder is now proof they were a 1 year wonder.
Is Minnesota like and I know there's a lot of disappointing teams. Penn State got to be at the top of that list, but is Minnesota the biggest disappointment in the Big Ten? I mean, based on the expectations, which again, and this is why fan bases need to check themselves sometimes and have realistic expectations for the program that they're a fan of, because just because PJ Fleck comes in there and starts talking about rowing boats and then has a 10-win season, now all of a sudden everybody's expecting them to be a playoff team the very next year. It's like, come on now. Now they have been exceptionally bad compared to they should be better than they are, but I think this expectation of them, supposedly being one of the best teams in the Big Ten all of a sudden is just ridiculous expectation for them.
They're probably the disappointment in the Big Ten West. I mean, Penn State obviously in the East. I mean, if you ask me between the two of those, who am I more surprised by? I'm far more surprised at Penn State's stumble than I am at Minnesota's, because you can almost, look at the history of the program, you can almost expect Minnesota to maybe do something like this. But I don't think anybody saw Penn State coming out and struggling like they've struggled.
Yeah, I agree.
Now we're at the part where we've all been worried about, and some teams are going to play 5 games, and some teams are going to play 9, and some are going to play 8, and we're going to be all screwed up, and COVID's going to wreck a bunch of shit, and we're we're probably just in the beginning stages of it right now.
Yeah. So this is interesting because we've been talking ad nauseum even during the preseason about whether this season would even go off and what it would look like with conference only schedules, and then we've kind of got lucky up until this point and haven't had a whole lot of games canceled. I mean, it's like 1 or 2 a week on average, in the Power 5 anyway. And then all of a sudden it's like, wham,
right.
This week we get hit with 12 of them. And so now the question is, and I'm sure you probably heard about this. I think this was at the Big 12 conference that you mentioned, the idea of postponing the playoffs or the national championship game, or one of the two. I think the playoffs. Have you heard this?
Yeah, they're talking about having. I believe they said something about how they thought they had maybe 3 to 4 weeks built in, where if they had to delay, they could delay. Because I think the gist of the argument is that they don't want to pick a 4. They don't want to pick 4, and I don't care who your 4 is. They don't want their 1 through 4, and then have 2 days before 1 and 4 play, number 4 come down with the COVID. And so 1 gets essentially a bye. I mean, they're desperate to avoid that.
Yeah.
So they're saying, we are built in. They don't want to play it in February. They don't want to go that far back, but they do have a couple of weeks built in to where maybe they do delay it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, one thing for sure, they're going to have to choose. They're going to have to choose between apples and oranges, because somebody's conference champion is going to be 9-0, and the next guy's going to be 7-0, and somebody's going to be 8-1, somebody's going to be 7-1. And it's all going to come down to, what did we see on the field? Who do we think looks good? Because there's no way everybody's going to have the same number of games against the same quality of opponents. It's just not going to happen.
So I'll hang up when you answer that, because I get some other ones. But he brings up a great point here. Now, here's the thing, though. So basically, you can extend. I don't think extending the playoffs matters. I just don't think it makes a difference. I don't understand exactly what they're trying to achieve there. But here's the biggest part of this, because this is all about money. It always has been. These universities across the country are losing massive amounts of money. Lots of teams shutting down entire sporting programs, the ones that don't make any money because of all of this. And if you push back the playoffs, you're directly now competing with the NFL playoffs. The NFL playoffs at that time are a weekend, they're a Saturday and a Sunday thing. And I don't think it's good for the NFL, obviously. You don't want to have two major sports competing against each other at that same time slot. So for that reason, I don't think it'll happen. I think the logistics don't work out well for college football to be trying to go into February, essentially, is what they're trying to do here. Late January, early February. So at the very least, late January. I just don't see it happening. Good afternoon, you're on with Pete.
What's up, Pete? How are you today, sir?
What's up? Who am I speaking with?
This is Maddie Sims.
Hey, what's up, man?
In the comment section.
Yeah.
I have two questions for you. So I guess my first question is, how would you feel about Clemson facing Notre Dame again in the ACC title game, provided both teams win out and play each other? Like what do you think Clemson would need to do in your eyes to win that game against Notre Dame after their first matchup?
Not blow it like they did in the first matchup. I don't know, man. I think that Notre Dame played great, so you got to give them credit. But when you're in close games like that, usually the cream rises to the top in as far as coaching goes. And Brian Kelly and the Notre Dame coaching staff out-coached Dabo Swinney and Venables and Elliott. And you don't see that very often. Most coaching staffs can't out-coach Clemson's coaching staff. And they did. And so you have to give credit to where credit's due. You also have to blame Dabo Swinney and the staff for the last 2.5 minutes of that game were atrocious. And I think that they would even admit to you that they screwed. They blew it. But that's football, man. So I don't know. I think the game will go differently the second time. But Notre Dame's a really good team. I mean, really good. Great, even.
Yeah, I would agree. Both teams are great. I remember I was watching your stream, and that was a really fun game to just even watch. And my second question would be, if Clemson were to win that game, provided obviously they win out the rest of their games, do you think both Clemson and Notre Dame would gain a playoff spot if they each won one of those matchups each during this season?
So that's a great point, and the answer to that is yes. I think it's very likely if Clemson wins this game and it's not a blowout. That's the key to this, is how does the game look? Is it 50-10? Which by the way, I'm not predicting that. I don't think that'll happen. But if it's 50-10 and Clemson wins, then a blowout loss in the biggest game of the year for them would leave them out probably. But let's say it's like it was last time. Hell, an overtime game or a 3-point game or a 5-point game or something along those lines, and Clemson wins it, then I think that you have to consider Notre Dame as an 11-1 team whose only loss is to Clemson and biggest win is against Clemson. Yeah. Of course, that would depend on what happened in other conferences too. But yeah, it's a certain possibility there. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think if both teams were to play, and obviously it was a respectable game, I think they would definitely both be considered. Well, obviously the winner of that championship game would probably be a lock, and the loser would definitely be considered.
Right.
I guess that's all the questions.
All right, man. I appreciate the call.
Sure. All right.
All right. Thank you. You guys have it. Good afternoon. You're on with Pete.
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Hey, I was wondering about the offensive line. What do you think about it?
This sounds like somebody I know. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was asking about the offensive line.
Oh.
What do you think they have to do to get better?
Get more experienced. I mean, I don't know the offensive line is an issue. So we lost, 3 of our 5 main starting offensive linemen last year to the NFL. Got a couple of veteran guys there, but Jackson Carman is definitely the best left tackle in the ACC and one of the top 3 probably in all of college football. Outside of that, you have a bunch of guys. I mean, if you have Putnam, he's been battling some injuries. So not only are they inexperienced across the line, they're also kind of banged up, which is not an excuse because there's a bunch of teams that are banged up, especially in the trenches at this time of the year. But that's it. So depth-wise, we're not very deep. Our starting 4 or 5, the main 4 or 5 guys, when they're healthy, are a good team. But outside of that, you just have a bunch of freshmen, mainly.
Yeah, I just worry about them opening up holes for ETN.
Yeah. Well, that's why you've noticed a noticeable shift in the way that they get ETN the ball this year. They're throwing a lot more passes to him than they normally would, and I think that's the reason why is the offensive line.
I sure hope they fix it.
Yeah, me too, buddy. Me and you both. They need to.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon. You're on with Pete.
Hey, Pete. Nate's great. Don't be late.
Nate.
AKA Nick Kingston. How you doing, sir?
The great. Don't be late. What's up, buddy?
Nothing much. I just want to let you know I might be on college game day. I'm not kidding.
Sorry, I was reading the chat.
I'm not kidding. Oh, sorry. I told Boo before, but I was gonna tell you after. That ESPN game day invited me to join the fans virtual fan base on the TV, and I'm not joking. I actually I tweeted this so I can show you it if you seen it. I don't know if you did. Yeah, I am going to be on the game day show.
So you're going to be on the game day. That's what you're saying. You're going to be on game day tomorrow morning. Live from the Masters.
Well, yes.
Yes.
I don't know why there's is at the Masters. I don't know why, but maybe there's a special reason. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the wrong sport, isn't it? Right? The Masters. That's not football, is it? What are they doing there?
No.
Yeah, the wrong sport.
But I mean, nothing wrong with that. Just
right.
Nothing. But well, here's the thing. ESPN game day is kind of BS though. But I wish everyone could go on. But it's the rules. They want the best signs.
So have you made a sign?
Yeah, I did. I did.
What's your
before
sign
I
say?
Called in.
What's your sign say? It's a world exclusive, folks. Nate has a sign that's going to be on game day tomorrow, and he has to let us know exactly what to look for.
All right. You had to look for a Wisconsin, and I'm not a Wisconsin fan, but Wisconsin's logo versus a Michigan logo. I mean, I made the Michigan logo, so my mom made the Wisconsin logo because it was hard. But
okay.
And there's a versus sign or versus whatever it is. And on the bottom of the logos, before the versus sign or whatever it is, and it will say, I made a well, it's from a movie. I think you noticed. It says we don't need no stinking badges.
All right, so everybody take a look out for Nate the Great. Don't be late. He'll be on college game day tomorrow. He was officially invited as a guest. And it sounds like he's got an amazing sign that he's obviously worked very hard on. So I'll be keeping an eye out for that, no doubt. Good afternoon. You're on with Pete.
What's up, Pete?
What's up?
Not much. Just chilling outside. That kind of ended what I was listening to. You kind of ended the call a little quick with Nate, but anyways,
yeah,
it ain't big. I'm glad for Nate being on a game day. He sounds like he's got a cold, and I keep telling him to get rid of that. But
he's Nate does what Nate wants to do.
He do, and that's cool. But I'm so glad that Trevor's going to be back in the next week. I hate that we have this off week. I think the player, it's good for the team to be able to fix the issues that we have. But I think that if you asked anybody, they'd want to be back out there this week.
Oh yeah.
And I'd love to be able to watch them to see exactly how tenacious we come out, because I think we don't come out fired.
I'm actually happy to have a week off just to heal up some of these guys that are banged up.
Yeah. And that's one of my issues, or one of my things. We need that time, but as players, they probably want to get out there, and as fans, they want to get out there because they want to. We want to prove that we didn't. I mean, we messed it up, but yeah,
it happens, man.
What game you looking? What game you looking forward to most this weekend to watch? Because there really ain't many.
I know, that's a great question. Probably Arkansas and Florida. I think that's a good one.
I think that was Arky fan calling in earlier, by the way.
Well, I don't know. Whatever. Probably was. And he probably changed his name to BYU fan. Probably the same guy.
But, my God. I was scrolling through ESPN earlier, and man, the headlines that they put on some of these articles are just absolute clickbait. Like, you'll read the little headliner that they have, like, as you're scrolling through, you click on it, and then it opens up the article, and it's a completely different headline.
Oh, yeah.
The same, really?
Yeah.
They had one talking about how Clemson could possibly play BYU in like a New Year's Six bowl or something if they lose the ACC championship.
That would be the biggest slaughter in the history of bowl games. BYU and Clemson. I hope that doesn't happen. First of all,
no, I do not want to play them.
BYU and anything, then something went horribly wrong between now and the end of the season anyway. So I don't want that to happen.
Well, I think we don't normally have players sit out of bowl games. I think we got scheduled BYU. We Trevor might even sit that one out.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. I still think. You think he's still going to be drafted number 1 overall? They've got a lot of push going for Fields.
Yeah, I mean, I think most likely. Yeah. But, Fields he'll be right there too. One of them's going first. I tend to believe it's going to be Trevor, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody drafted Fields ahead of him, but probably not.
Okay. So and this was one of the main reasons that I was calling. So Alabama's only had 2 Heisman winners, both running backs, if I'm correct on that.
I don't know.
I might be
the
wrong.
answer to that. I mean, they've had 2.
They haven't had many. They've only had. I think their only Heisman winners were in my lifetime, which is within the past 30 years.
Yeah, so they've had 2 with Saban there. So I know that.
Yeah. But would you ever have thought that an Alabama quarterback would have possibly win the Heisman before?
No.
Clemson player got one.
Yeah.
I mean, Mac Jones looks great. He's by far got the best deep ball in college football. So if he wins it, he would deserve it.
Well, Alabama's
especially losing.
Alabama's so loaded right now; it's not even funny.
Yeah, and it's
I really think they're the best team in the country. I think they're better than Clemson and Ohio State and Notre Dame.
And they're just getting better every week.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty much proving that. It's like, okay, we got to step up on defense, and they're just going to continue to put 40, 50 points up on the board.
Yep.
They look. They're the team. I was talking a couple weeks ago. Like number 1 this year is probably going to have an easy bye in round one. I was hoping that Clemson would have been that number one team, but
yeah,
we got that uphill battle.
There's nothing Clemson can do well, I won't say nothing, but most likely they won't get back to the number one seed. But honestly, man, like the majority of the years in the playoffs, most of the first round games have been blowouts. So
yeah,
really, it's been mismatches every year over the past 5 years in that first round. I mean, like, what was it?
I just feel like this year is kind of similar to last year.
Like last year, LSU against Oklahoma in the first round. What? I mean, come on now.
Yeah. Last week before Notre Dame, or before we played Notre Dame, I really thought that that's what we were going to be looking at again this year. And then, well, we made a mistake in play calling, and we just needed to make some plays. ETN didn't need to go out of bounds, all that stuff. Just is one of those. It opened it up a lot. It really changed my perspective of exactly how many elite teams there were this year.
Yeah. Now, granted,
Notre Dame was on.
I think Notre Dame played out of their mind. I think Ian Book. Ian Book it's like Ian Book himself wanted to win the game more than anybody on Clemson's team did. Like, they just looked like they wanted it more, you know?
Yeah.
And but I don't think you're going to see that twice. These players for Clemson, they're in a rare air of teams where the majority of the people on that team don't know what losing's like. Like, that's a crazy stat if you think about it. Or losing in the regular season anyway. I mean, of course, they lost to LSU in the championship game. But so I just don't. I think that sometimes a loss can actually be good in the long run. I mean, I think losing to Pitt that year, that in 2016, that helped Clemson's team going forward.
That game.
Well, yeah,
I watched that. I was in the stands watching that ball go through the upright, and I'm just sitting here thinking, "Are you?" We shared drinks with Pitt fans in the parking lot tailgating before the game. How dare we?
Now, I will say this. I'm not going to I'm not going to try to make light of it and say it was a good thing that Clemson lost this game. I didn't want them to lose the game. Oh. But
well, I mean, because it puts pressures on us. We have to win out and win the ACC championship.
That's the thing, is the pressure's on now. But, you know, I think in the minds of the coaches and the players and even a lot of the fans, we feel like every week's playoff week for Clemson anyway, because of there's the perception of their schedule being weak, especially now it's only ACC teams, that they have to win every game. But that's not the case this year because Notre Dame is there.
And ACC's looking probably like the best. The ACC's probably looking like the best overall conference this year. I mean, they're right there with the SEC with a number of elite teams. I mean, the SEC, you got Alabama, Georgia. They could be there if they had a little bit better quarterback play. You got Florida. A&M's looking really solid this year. Yeah. They're surprising me. I think they could actually. They're my most likely backdoor into the playoffs team.
It's hard to judge. It's just so hard to judge how good the teams are when they don't play anybody out of conference. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to judge.
I think I'm with you. If you just I think that's why they're going to take that into the.
I'm with you. I think that the Big 12 is a mess. We don't know enough about the Pac-12 right now. The Big 10 seems to be a little bit down, but maybe that's just.
Mm-hmm.
They're a lot like the ACC. There's a lot of parity. It's like anybody can beat anybody on any given day, and you don't know who's going to win what. But then you have Ohio State kind of sitting there by themselves as the best team. So it's just a weird year, man.
And I think Ohio State's going to have a little bit of the issue that Clemson's had in the past of like because the Big Ten of their schedule of the Big Ten, not the Big Ten in general, but who they're playing. They're not playing the better teams in the Big Ten. I mean, Penn State is down. That was one of their marquee games, things like that. So they're really going to have to put the pressure on, and then missing this game is, I think, going to be kind of a big thing for them. Now, I won't. If they miss another one, that's going to be even worse.
Yeah,
but
we'll see.
I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, this wasn't their issue. This was on Maryland.
I would be shocked if at the end of the day Ohio State doesn't come out looking rosy in this whole thing, And I think that they'll find their way into the playoffs. I just don't see anybody on their schedule that can beat them, you know.
Yeah, but
But we'll see.
It's one of them things. But hey, Pete, I appreciate you taking my call. I'll let you get to some of the other ones. We'll holler at you next Tuesday or next Wednesday.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
All right. I got to shut down the call-in portion of the show and the show in general. Called in. I had somebody waiting on the line. They were only there for a couple of minutes. I'm sorry. I had to shut the thing down. For those of you who don't know, phone lines do cost money. Every line that's filled, whether I'm talking to them or not, is charging. So I have a strict time limit on the phones. I usually take them off right at about 5 till 11, unless it's a special occasion. But thank you to all the people that called in. Had some great calls tonight. Even the one that just buried himself. Was called in to bury himself. That's the damnedest thing I've ever seen. Even him. And of course, all the people that donated through the super chat. These videos would not be possible without you. Now, I don't know which game I'm going to stream tomorrow. Let's pull up. Let me pull up the schedule real quick. Let's do this before I get off. We'll pull up the schedule. It's hard to keep up with all the games that have been canceled. I think I know the main ones that have been canceled, but and as of right now, Cincinnati is beating East Carolina 49-10. I took Cincinnati at -28, so I'm looking good right now. There's 4 minutes left in that game. All right, let's see here. Miami and Virginia Tech. What time does that come on? That's a noon game. That's a candidate, actually, for me to stream. Wake Forest, North Carolina. That's at noon as well. Penn State, Nebraska. That's at noon. Indiana, Michigan State. That's at noon. Let's see here. Notre Dame and Boston College at 3:30. That's a contender. The only reason I probably, I don't know, that I might actually do that one. That sounds like it's probably the best afternoon game. Thank you, Funky Fudge. So just wanted to say thanks for a great show. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And thank you for the donation as well. Louisville, Virginia. Nope. Don't care. I really don't. Arkansas, Florida at 7 p.m. That's another good one. You know what? That's probably the one that I will do. Right now it's between Notre Dame and Boston College and Arkansas and Florida. See somebody on there says USC, Arizona. Sorry, two Irish brothers. You might have been the one that was on hold when I ended the calls. But I do these live call-in shows every Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. So call in towards the beginning of the show, and I'll make sure that I get to your call. Sometimes the people that come in really late, I'll have to end up cutting one of them off. And listen to the postponed ones. Georgia, Missouri, Coastal Carolina, Troy, North Texas, UAB, UL Monroe, Arkansas State, Rice, Louisiana Tech, Memphis, Navy, A&M, Tennessee, Auburn, Mississippi State, Alabama, LSU, Pittsburgh, Georgia Tech, Air Force and Wyoming. They didn't even postpone that one. They just said cancel it, Jack. No football for you. You go. You've been here for an hour. You go. You've been here for an hour. All right. So here's what I've narrowed it down to. And just keep an eye on YouTube in the community section or on Twitter if you follow me on there. And I'll let you know which one I'm going to stream. James Lill wants to know, do you like my teaser teams? NC State -3, Oregon -3, Washington 7 if they play. Who's NC State playing? I like the Oregon -3. And who's Washington play? What's up, Cheryl? Says Arizona doesn't have a good team. Well, Arizona hasn't played yet this year. So, maybe they're no good, but we haven't seen them play. Yes, I actually did see the North Carolina throwback jerseys that you're talking about, Luke, and they are cool looking. Most people think that Carolina blue is ugly. I would tend to agree with them on the college side just because I don't like North Carolina, but the fact that it's so close to Panther blue, I can't be a hypocrite. I like the Panther blue. So, anywho, all right, guys, I appreciate you guys stopping in. Keep an eye out. It'll either be the Notre Dame and Boston College game or the Florida and Arkansas game. I will come on about 15 minutes before the game that I do stream, and we'll hang out. Right, put the kids to bed, or if it's during the afternoon, don't put the kids to bed. Just put them somewhere else. Put the beers on ice. Come hang out with your boy. All right, that's simple. All right, guys, I'll see you then. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend.